who are so obsessed with talking all things Carlton that we've decided to partner with Carlton Live and bring this show to everybody. So thank you, first of all, for everybody who contributed last week and posted questions and gave us some great encouragement. It was really, really fun. Jen, I had a ball. I presume you did as well.
Yeah, no, I had an absolute ball, and it's good to see that the viewers are coming on. We are the only live show tonight, despite Dylan Buckley and Chris Judd. And
we've got some competition tonight, I hear.
We do. I believe Wayne Harms and Blue Abroad are going.
Blue Abroad's only got the very first ever Norm Smith medalist on their show, and I think he's a Carlton Hall of Famer. He should be, if not. And Dylan Buckley's got one of our board members and former Brownlow, two-time Brownlow medalist and premiership player on his show. So no stress, no pressure tonight. We haven't got a lot of competition to try and live up to. No, it's not competition. It's all part of the Carlton family, and it's all part of this amazing community that our footy club and our fan base has built. So after our show finishes being live, we recommend everybody goes and hits up those other shows as well later tonight, because I'm sure that they're going to be must-watch as well. I'm hand up, I'll be watching both later tonight or maybe tomorrow morning at work. So let's get into our show. Let's start off. Let's review. Last week we had a lot of discussion and a lot of questions coming in, and we put the message out and kind of said, for this week's show, are there any questions? And a handful of people were inboxing us and messaging us personally, but also the page. What was one of the topics that to cover for this week that you kind of had sent to you?
Well, I know we had a few just from what I saw on our Facebook page. A player that we brought in that has had a huge impact. And the only one that I can think of that's come to mind in the 2020 season that was of course Jack Martin. Okay. What are your thoughts on?
Expand on Jack Martin first, because I've got. I think Jack Martin was a great pickup, but I'll go another one. But you can start.
Okay.
Expand on Jack Martin.
Well, despite the fact that he came from up north, we got him for free. So, tick.
Now, I still don't know how we did that.
Tick. But for me, thank you very much, Sauce. The few games that he did string together. I know he was a bit out of it a couple of times during the year, but it was just his pace for me. Like, he would just break packs. And his first game against Richmond, he kicked, 5 goals? 4 goals?
4 or 5, yeah. I think 3 or 4 of them in the second quarter, or all of them in the second quarter maybe.
What an introduction to the Carlton family. Like, I couldn't think of a better way to introduce yourself.
So he announced himself right from the get-go. And from all reports of training and stuff like that in the preseason, he set the standard. The intensity level raised a couple of levels when he turned up. So he's an obvious one for me. Thank you for everybody in the comments already who are sharing players from other clubs. I thought, like you, it seems, I thought that the question was more based around players who have arrived at the club recently, and I'm going to agree with Matt Gaspar. Jack Nunes, after the siren goal, our first after the siren goal in 33 years. The last one was Stephen Kernahan versus North in 1987. That is a random stat to remember, but I remember it because I was born in 1988. I wasn't alive. I've never lived to see an after-the-goal siren win again for Carlton.
No, me either. I'm a bit younger than you. So, yeah.
I've seen plenty of them against us.
Oh, yeah.
One earlier this year.
No, that Port Adelaide one's still a sore point for me, so we're not going to talk about that. But I still get goosebumps every time I watch Jack Nunes' one, especially to the Titanic music. That's just
amazing.
Terrible.
Amazing. That Jack Nunes goal gave me the greatest bit of content I've ever created. So I've done a lot of content creation and social media work for work-wise. I've done it for a lot of years now, but also in charge of the cheer squad social media, and I'm now helping out Carlton Pride and their endeavours, and now doing a video podcast and stuff like that. But that Jack Nunes goal allowed me to get some of the greatest content I've ever created and put out. The memes were just amazing for days. But I think for Nunes, he started a bit shaky for me. The first game he showed a bit against Richmond, and then for about 4 or 5 weeks, I just saw, let's call it C+ performances. I thought, oh yeah, he's there, he's contributing, he's a big body. But as the year went on, he was someone who ran really hard both ways, and was someone who I thought could be relied on when it counted and kick big goals at big moments too. Yeah. A lot of the time during the year, and I think he's become. Is his spot safe in our 22? Probably not, but that's a testament to our depth. But he's a damn fine contributor, and like Jack Martin, we got him for free. So another one that's gone for Mark Pittonet. Early in the year, I thought we found a 200 gamer, but then we blooded more games into De Koning, and I think De Koning for me is my first pick ruckman. But Pitto, very, very, very solid contributor himself.
Yes.
Who else have we got for players from other clubs? Chris Judd, yeah, he goes all right.
Chris Judd. How could you go past Chris Judd?
Won a Brownlow for us.
He did win a Brownlow for us in a year that Dane Swan was actually favourite to win.
In fairness, Swanee won it the year Judd should have won, but
yeah, well, if you're going to play the roles, Heath Scotland, yes, cool. I love that one.
A lot of people always like to say about Pendlebury, he looks rushed, never looks off balance. Heath Scotland just always had time and always hit a target.
The original general.
Shane Heatley, good God. Here we go. And that's how I refer to Jack Nunes as well, Stephen. F and Jack Nunes. Well, here's a good one. Here's a good one from Stephen. Barassi. Now, when Barassi came to Carlton, we could write essays and a thesis on what changed at Carlton when Barassi came to Carlton. That's a damn good call. Does any bets count?
He left, and then he came back. So I'm going to give it. I'm going to give it.
It counts. It counts. Mish coming in with the unpopular opinions early. He's very maligned, is Lockie Plowman. I'm pretty sure you do too. I think he's won me over, I'll say.
Oh, he had me last year, and no,
he didn't have me last year. He has this year.
No, I think last year coming third in the best and fairest was proof in the pudding that he actually stepped up a gear. We needed him to step up, especially in defence. And no, Lockie Plowman's definitely a good one. Oh, Diesel, I like that one, Adrian. Ooh.
The greatest player I have lived to see at Carlton.
Yes, I only saw.
Never was blessed to see Jewell or Nichols. In my opinion, Greg is the best I've ever seen at Carlton. Who else we got? Here's a very good one because he came from the enemy as well. So this one is a brilliant pick, Justin Madden. Great. I saw his brother in Essendon on the weekend, on Sunday, Simon Madden.
All the time in Essendon, Simon. He's a regular down there.
He is. Shout out to St. Rose in Essendon. That's a
good place if you ever around the area.
Glenn Manson. Bolter, the bolt from the blue.
Love him.
He was into obscure piercings, was our Glenn, but another one who came from Essendon, and absolute superstar of a human being. Misha's got one more, I think, here. Ed Kerner, off the rookie list at Adelaide Crows.
Yeah, I think so. And wasn't Andrew Carrazzo another one?
On Geelong's rookie list.
Yeah, another good get.
We've had a handful of good ones. I can't say the other fella's name. Oh, here we go. I've got a feeling that Greg's saying this is a joke, but I love Digby Morrell.
He's actually the senior men's coach at Pascoe Vale at the moment.
I love Digby Morrell. What a man. Rob's chimed in. Earl Sporting and Matt Clappe. Earl Sporting's come from the D's. Matty Clappe came from West Coast, WA boy. Two great gets. Two premiership players in 95 there, Rob. So thanks for everybody for, hitting us up. And is there any other questions that you had sent in to us, Shannon, that you can remember?
I know there was one, I think we touched on him last week, Ben Silvani. There was a bit of why did we get rid of him sort of thing. And
Ben Silvani?
Ben Silvani. I know last week it was my unpopular opinion, and I actually had a conversation with this person via comments, and I said I'll touch on it for her tonight. But I think he was a subject of a unfortunate situation with COVID-19 and the list being chopped, essentially, because we're only allowed a certain amount of senior players and a certain amount of rookies. And if, as we went off air last week, they were saying
there's only so many spots on the list.
No, so I think he was just unlucky, in my opinion. Like I know we said that. Well, he was my unpopular opinion that we did the right thing, but well, maybe they would have given him another go had they been able to keep him on the list. But
there was a bit of talk about that after our show and during the week as well. A lot of people are a bit confused why we got rid of Ben. I agree with you. I think that Ben was someone who, if I was in charge of their list management, I would have chopped.
Tough call had to be made.
Did. And yes, it hurts because he's a lovely kid. He's a big boy and his name's Silvani for obvious reasons and that sort of thing. I just don't think I saw enough.
I don't think so.
When I look at players who during the year started a bit behind him, and I'm looking at the guys like Cottrell and Owies and these sort of guys, I thought they showed a lot more this year than Benny did. And again, there are obvious excuses for Ben for what went wrong. For my opinion, though, those excuses could be applied to everybody else, and those other players still managed to do more this year. In light of those excuses, everyone else managed to lift a bit. I presume this is Trev or John in charge of the Carlton Live account saying, our captain, another player from another club.
Greg's had another comment there. Could we count Sticks and Bradley even though they came from the Sandful?
Well, you could possibly count both because they both played so many games. I think Sticks played about 80 or 90 games for Glenelg and Craig Bradley for Port. Over 100, I think about 140 something. I was talking about Bradley only on the weekend. He 375 games for Carlton, which is our record. And then before that, what did we say? 100 and something. It was over 400 games total. So about 130 something for Port in the Sandful. And after all of that, in his 375th game for us, polled 3 Brownlow votes.
How do you go?
He's a ridiculous footballer. And one of the greatest you'll ever see. No VFL hurt Ben Silvani's development this year. And that's true. That is true.
That's what I said last week. I go with the fact that they had, that little, like you mentioned, that silly,
Mickey Mouse con, about 6-a-side. Yeah.
Of course, that's going to delay his development.
Yeah.
But
what they were playing was like not even the Big Bash or 2020 version of football. It was
exactly.
They were playing AFLX on a basketball court. It may as well have been that because it was just a joke what they were playing. But yes, that has hurt Ben's development. Sweet. It hurt everybody's development. And still a handful of players in the same scenario still rose to the occasion a bit more than Ben.
Well, it looks like maybe he goes, Ben got injured after about 3 weeks in the hub.
Yep.
Another fair
tough luck, tough break. Again, these are maybe all true things. I still think they're all excuses. And again, a lot of other players have had injuries this year. Again, in the same sort of position. Matty Cottrell had a few hammy issues. Owies early in the season, I think came back from a hammy, or is it a leg of some sort? Might have been an ankle. But again, they were able to, make the most of when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Well, I think someone like Cottrell didn't even make lemonade; he made margaritas. Whereas poor Benny was stuck with a couple of lemons still. Yeah.
Yeah. What about you? Did anybody send you any messages on any topics to discuss this evening?
Yeah, there was a few. I remember getting asked during the week, can we touch on the year that was? So someone was saying kind of what went right, what went wrong, how did we grow, where did we go wrong, what went right? So for me, I think I touched on this last week. 2020 has been a step forward for the Carlton Football Club. It's very easy to get caught up and disappointed in the end of the season, and we kind of did trail off. The losses to Collingwood and GWS, and then obviously that other game that we don't mention on this show.
No.
That other one
that we weren't going to mention last week.
No, the one in which Bryce Gibbs got a send off. We won't mention the team we played or the result, but yeah, those sort of games at the end of the year were very bitterly disappointing. But I do think that on the whole, it was a step forward for Carlton. The reality, I believe, is we could have probably made finals and probably should have. At the start of the year, I didn't think finals were something we should be expecting, but by the end of the year, I thought shit was a bit of a missed opportunity. I think we've now laid the foundations and there's a base there, which means that 2021 for me is finals or fail.
Yeah.
There's no excuse now. And yes, we've already got one comment here from Vicky Ann saying Charlie Curnow went wrong. Even in light of Charlie's most recent injury, it's not an excuse for me. I think we're in a position to be making finals. I'm of the opinion that Charlie still might be close to coming back for round one.
I'm holding a very small candle in visual and hope. But no, I agree with you in terms of 2020 on the whole. Like we, and as Adrian said, our biggest loss was only 31 points. When you put that into perspective for years gone by, that
did we have 100-point loss
from the MCG?
Yeah, we had some shockers though. Yeah,
we would walk away from the MCG saying that's a win.
I don't think we had a 100-pointer last year, but the game we lost to GWS interstate was as gutting as anything. And then the week after, I think we played the Bombers, and that's when Bolton got the arse.
Yeah.
Those games were just bitterly disappointing. For us, the most bitterly disappointing was probably that game that shall not be named.
No.
But again, by standards, it was just the team we lost to was shit, not the fact that we got walked out there and got done by 100 points. Those days are over.
Oh, 100%. And I'm with you. Next year, top 8 or fail. Because like when you take out the handful of games that we lost by under a goal, and how many times did we give up a 5-goal lead?
I think it was 7 or 8 games we gave up a 5-goal in a row. 5-goal run in a row, I should say.
You're sitting about 5th or 6th on the ladder, and you're staring down the potential of a top 4 finish. So
I'm actually a firm believer. I spoke to a mate of mine today, Gerard, who kind of hit me up and he said, a bit bullish about our fortunes next year. He said, and I'm not going to shame him, but he kind of said he believes they could go all the way. Don't necessarily share that sentiment. I do believe that once you make it, you're a chance. You've got 1 in 8 chance then. We've seen in recent years, the Bulldogs won it from 7th and I think Brisbane made a prelim from 6th or something a couple of years ago. And in West Coast, I think were only 5th or 6th when they beat the Pies that year. So the proof is there. I think Richmond's first flag, they're only 6th or something as well.
Sorry.
You can win it from outside the top 4. So it is possible. But I think we're a step behind that. I'd love to be wrong.
Oh, prove me wrong. Boys, prove me wrong.
Well, the boys can prove me wrong. The girls are not only, let's start on that now, not only are the girls starting premiership favourites, there's a lot of talk coming out of that club already. We've had Taylor Harris, Daniel Harford, and today Maddie Prasparkas openly and outwardly say flag.
Oh.
And that's bold. That's ballsy. That's really, really bold. I like it.
So much of their training, because I follow them on their socials. Guys, get around the A4W socials.
100%.
Keep tabs on them for their training, because I've seen them and they look beastly. And they're hungry. They've got unfinished business, and I cannot wait to be there in the rows at Icon Park ready to watch them, because they are going to come home with a flag.
And the fact that there was a bit of unfinished business, I reckon, is a bit of a chip on the shoulder as well now.
Oh, yeah.
And the girls are kind of a bit shitty at how the season ended and wanting to come out and prove a point. And there's nothing more dangerous than someone with a point to prove, especially very talented people with a point to prove.
Yeah. What have we got here?
Talking points. At risk, top 5 players who need a huge improving season, and the top 5 can't wait to see them this season. So who are the 5 for you who make or break?
Mitch McGovern.
Mm-hmm.
SPS.
Big calls. Yep.
Maddie Cottrell.
Okay.
Who else have we got? I think I love Levi, but this one might be make or break for him.
Did he get a 1-year extension? I think he did.
I think he did.
However much longer he stays at the club, it'll only be 1-year deals.
Yeah, it'll be in 1-year increments. Can't think of my fifth one at the moment because we haven't really. I'm going to say Newsy. He needs another big year.
Okay. Yeah, it's hard to back it up, I reckon, for Nunes. That's a good call. For me, the players that really need to step up. Well, I'll start like this. The players who have got do or die. So for me, Matt Kennedy starts probably currently on our list, probably in the bottom 4 ranked players, in my opinion. A lot of people in the Carlton fraternity seem to think he's got a lot of talent, which I don't necessarily disagree with. But I think if he's going to actually make it as a footballer, it's this year or never. I think he's at high risk of getting delisted at the end of 2021. He is absolutely someone who needs it. I'm going to go with a real left field one and throw in Caleb Marchbank. I love Marchie and I rate the tits off him, but always injured. And Carlton put out a press release today saying, oh, he's like a new recruit. Well, I've heard that for a handful of years now. And I don't want to see a player of his talent, who I really do like and really do rate. I don't want to see him turn into Harry McCready and just all of a sudden too many injuries and you're gone.
Yeah.
Levi, I agree with on 1-year deals. Hopefully by the end of the year, we don't necessarily have to rely on Levi. I love the bloke, but the fact that we've had to rely on him for so many years has shown where we're at.
Yeah.
Another one, look, it's pretty obvious. Eddie Betts is probably going to be his last year in football. I just hope that we can see as many games as possible of it. And one more that's a make or break. I'm going to try and go another left field one. Here's another left field one. My fiance is going to murder me. Ed Curnow. By the end of this coming year, Curnow and Murphy probably shouldn't be walk-up starts to our best 22.
Huge call.
I love Curnow and I love Murphy. We know that Murphy's my favourite player.
Me too.
But if our midfield and our team is going to develop as they should, it should be the likes of Walsh, Setterfield, Martin, Fisher, the likes of Stocker and Kemp coming in, etc. Paddy Dow. A handful of these guys should be knocking them off the best 22.
Yeah, well,
if we are going to be developing and making top 4 and all this sort of stuff, look, I knew that if we started unpopular opinions early or what, but like by the end of the year, those sort of players, that's both over 30, and I love their contribution. You can't see this on the camera. She's actually behind us now, like giving me threatening looks.
You're in trouble now.
And I love, but we've got it's up to these kids. It's how many more years can we rely on Murphy and Curnow and Kaz Bolt? Let's throw him in there, and even Eddie Betts.
Yeah.
I am the biggest Eddie Betts fanatic in the entire world, but everyone's complaining, oh, well, why are we playing Eddie Betts? Well, we're playing Eddie Betts because there's no one stepping up to the spot to take his role. We've now got Fogarty at the club. Hopefully he can do it. We've given games to Honey and Owies, and hopefully they can, get a proper pre-season and a proper development sort of pathway so that they can take an opportunity and show something. But guys like Gibbons, Cunningham, Fisher, we've tried so many players in this position. No one's taken that spot off Eddie Betts so far this year.
Yeah.
And the same with the midfield. I think, we've got to really be taking these older blokes as much as we love them. I think our defenders kind of took that spot off Simo, and those 2 ruckmen kind of took the spot off Cruiser. It's kind of time for the other young fellas to step up and take their positions.
Yeah, it's exactly right. So part 2 of that, where was that comment?
Again?
Yeah. Let's do a quick refresher. I think it's the players that we're most
excited. 5 that you can't wait.
Right. So, Brody Kemp for me.
Mm-hmm. Kemp and Stocker.
Pardon?
Kemp and Stocker.
Yep, they're the first 2 on my list. I'm looking forward to seeing a bit more of our boy Tommy. Shout out to Tommy DeConning, Cheer Squad.
Cheer Squad sponsor Tommy.
Yeah.
Tom DeConning could be anything.
Yep. Your unpopular opinion from last week, Paddy Dow. I want to see a bit more of him.
It's make or break, yeah. Throw him in there as well, but I also can't wait to see it.
Yeah, no. And I want to see how Sard fits into our defence.
Okay. Great call. For me, you've said Sard, so I'll throw the other one. I'll go Zach Williams. I think he will transform our midfield and will bring a layer of speed that we haven't got. I'm really, really excited about the development sort of trajectory of Will Setterfield. I think that he's an A-grader. I really do. I look at him and I think of Taylor Adams from Collingwood. I think the inside bull. His disposal was his weakness, but I think that kind of got plastered over a tiny bit in 2020, which I was happy to see. Sam Walsh is my Lord and Saviour, and just the fact that he's only had 2 years under his belt scares me, because it's about 21, 22 when they start getting real good. And for God's sakes, can you imagine?
What? 2 years?
And obviously Charlie Curnow. I mean, if he gets on the park, we got to hope he does. But if he does, well, shit, how much does that change our team if he can come back and be to his best or close to his best?
Well, I noticed a post that you put on for the cheer squad the other day in regards to Stocker doing those extra.
Yeah, yesterday.
November. How?
Yeah, so yesterday, the last day of November. So for those who don't know and aren't on Instagram, etc., Jack Silvani, Liam Stocker, Lockie O'Brien, I think Liam Jones has done it, and forgive me, there's probably one more who I'm forgetting. Sorry, kids, whoever you are, have been doing during November, and with a great degree of difficulty in growing any hair on his top lip, Liam Stocker has decided, he grew up a mustache, but tried to grow a mustache. I can't do it either, Liam, so don't feel bad. He decided to add additional running to his training load that he has been given for the off-season, and through the month of November accumulated. He had a target of 150K, so the equivalent of 5K a day, and got 161K.
That's incredible.
And that's on top of the actual workload that he was given. So that's the equivalent of, you wouldn't be doing it every day, but that's a 10K run on top of whatever you're meant to do every second day.
That's
and
incredible.
For me, and we don't know what has gone on and that sort of thing. We don't profess to have any insight, but Stocker left the hub and didn't play a senior game this year for personal reasons, whether they're mental health related or what. But he's a kid who, when that sort of stuff was going on, a few people kind of raised an eyebrow and said, "Oh, is this kid all right? Is what's going to happen here? Does he want it? Is he committed? What's the go? Has he got stuff that's going to pull him away from football?" What I see in that is a kid putting his head down, bum up, and saying, "I want this. Watch me." And I won't give too many details because it is a bit of a personal thing, but our squad did inbox him and congratulate him and say how proud we are of him. And the response we got from Liam was kind of
pretty cute.
Get ready to see me in full flight. So he's number one on my list. Like I said it last week, you said Kemp, I said Stocker. I think they're both just players that can be ridiculously great additions to our side. Debbie, she had to donate to Liam for his determination. It's a great call. So anyone who does want to or feels so inclined, support these guys. They were doing Movember this year. For Liam, sorry?
I think they do it every year. I've seen Liam Jones and a group of boys do it every year. And
I'm sure O'Brien did it last year.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they've all done it before. I know Jack Silvani is a big contributor for Movember, and I've seen a whole bunch of them. I think a whole bunch of our old boys were doing it as well, like Cameron Wood and Jason Tutt and our old friend Dennis Armfield. They're all getting involved. So it's a great cause, Movember.
Dennis is about to become a daddy, so he can't have this stuff on here. He's going to be a daddy. He's got to have beautiful baby photos, and we've got to get rid of that so that the photos are A+.
Pretty sure Abby will be right when he gets.
Abby's having professional photos. It seems they're taking it very seriously. That family.
No, gotta
go. So let's go straight into it. We kind of nearly touched on it just before our unpopular opinion segment.
Yeah.
I might start if it's all right, because I kind of nearly touched on it before.
Go.
I was saying how a handful of players who, by the end of the year, probably should be starting to get challenged at least for their spot in the 22. That brings me to my unpopular opinion. I believe, we made the right decision in tapping Cade Simpson on the shoulder this year. not only do I believe that he shouldn't have gone on next year, I'm of the belief that 12 months ago, we tapped the wrong halfback on the shoulder to retire. We tapped Daisy Thomas on the shoulder and ended his career. He felt, and I felt, he probably had one more in him. This year, although Simo's performance was pretty bloody solid at times, had it have been me 12 months ago, I would have probably picked Daisy over him. But this year, I think I loved what he contributed, Simo, but a lot of people were still very bitter and saying he probably could have gone on next year. He probably could have, but should he have? No. I'm very unpopular opinion. I'm shooting Bambi here. We made the right call.
Well, I'm wearing our Simo top in memoriam tonight, but no, I kind of agree with you. But and definitely agree with you on the Daisy front that he could have gone another season, 100%. And Mac agrees. With Simo, I feel that portions of his game this year were not what we expect of Cade Simpson. So, and I often
the effort was still there. The effort you can never just, that'll always.
No. But the pace and the skill set slowly, declined, and I can see a lot of people were actually saying, "Oh, Simo this, Simo that," like on our pages and on other Carlton pages. So I can see definitely where the opinion comes from, and I agree with you to a degree.
I feel so many Carlton fans are pining for the return of Marchbank. They're pining for the return of Nick Newman. We're loving the fact that we've gotten Adam Sard in. We're wanting to see more of Williamson. We want to see Petrevski-Seton develop into what he could become and what we think he can become. We can't have all of that and still have Cade Simpson. And that's the harsh, terrible reality. That's kind of what I'm starting on with these midfielders. I want to see Sam Walsh in Setterfield and Dow and Kemp and these sort of guys and Stocker become the new, in the new Voss, Ackermanis, Black, Lappin Power sort of thing. I want to see that at Carlton. I want to see the return of the likes of, midfield with we had midfields in days gone past of Ratton, Bradley, Koutafidis, Williams, etc. Justin Madden, hitting it down to him. I remember those days.
I was quite young, but I remember dribs and drabs. But I feel like we hang on to the notion of who they are and what they've given to the club, whereas and the love they have for the club, like the heart they have. I think we just need to come to terms with the fact that they're not going to play forever, and that I know I'm gearing up for Mark Murphy now. So
we have to, and same with Eddie Betts. Everyone who is loving the prospect of being able to see Eddie Betts one more year, and for me, I'm 100%. The sentimentality is probably going to rule for Eddie a bit more than the output that he's going to give us. Yeah. We're going to love the fact that we're seeing him rather than the fact that we're seeing him dominate. I hope we can see one or two moments.
Can we please?
Just all it will take is one little goal out of his ass from in the Putt Road end pocket or something like that, and the place will just go bananas.
There was a roof on the gym, you get blown off.
But we've really got to start, seeing these sort of guys. As you say, we're going to prepare for a life after them. I feel blessed that we're going to be able to see Eddie again and this sort of thing, but it's about time. It's about time that we kind of start seeing these kids take the mantle, and we can't live off promise. It's about time they start delivering is kind of my main contention.
No, that's fine, and I agree. We can't live in the past, and Simo's given us 300 plus games of pure magic.
338, I think he ended on.
Something like that. And it's just to the point now where it's like we need to see these young players come through. And
absolutely.
Which leads me to an unpopular opinion. I know you do not agree with me in the slightest.
Everybody who is watching this right now, we kind of, not exactly a run sheet, but we kind of have discussed our talking points. Shannon's unpopular opinion is amazing. It's unpopular with me. I can't wait to see these comments go absolutely bonkers.
Okay.
Hit us with it.
So I know that a lot of people are not fans of this player.
Can I start off? This is a genuine opinion of yours?
Yeah, genuine opinion. Genuine.
I want to make sure it's real.
I'm going to make it up. No, he was likened to Mark Murphy at the start of his career. And I feel that Cam Paulson should have gotten one more year. I say this because they went to the trouble of training him in the defence. And to his credit, when he did come into the side, he was not our worst player. He wasn't.
Probably not.
No, he wasn't. And I feel that if you're going to move somebody, see it through. Give him an opportunity to actually develop in that position. And given that we have that VFL program this year, I feel that he was obviously not given the proper opportunity to develop in that role. And who knows what he could have been? Who knows?
I applaud your effort to argue the point. Here we go. You've got a fan. Debbie O'Connor believes in you.
A few other people believe in you. I believe Britt is in here. Hello, Britt.
I saw Britt laughing at Michelle's comment, but I don't look. Again, it might become my own unpopular opinion again. I'm of the belief that I have seen many players come into Carlton over the years. I haven't seen very many be given more chances and deliver less than Cam Paulson.
Okay.
In a long time. A lot of players have kind of come in and just never lived up to anything. Much prefer to keep key positions like Ben. Yeah, look, I'll challenge you on this. If we are going to keep Cam Paulson on the list, like I said last week, who goes off?
Who goes off?
If we're going to keep him, we've got to get rid of someone else.
That's true. Let's have a think. Who else have we got on that list? You could argue the point of Matt Owies again.
So let's go for Vicky Ann's kind of hitting on it here. We're talking about maybes.
There's a big maybe that
we just talked about Simo and how I wouldn't have kept Simo because there's so many players for that position. Of all of those names we just had mentioned for the halfback or small defender or even defender in general sort of role, if we're keeping Paulson, he's got to be playing. There's no point keeping someone on this if they're not going to play. Who of those defenders is you get a game ahead? Is he ahead of Newman, Marchbank, Williamson, Petrovsky, Seaton?
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I get the argument that everyone didn't, want him there. But as Debbie goes, hate how he was a whipping boy, 19 games. What?
He was a whipping boy, and he was.
He was.
Absolutely the whipping boy, and probably a lot of it's unfounded. It can get vitriolic and very harsh. I
feel he wasn't given enough, 19 games in how many seasons? Was he really given enough of an opportunity?
I think he got given too many opportunities, in my opinion.
When
he got his last contract, I believe, I know that he was Bolton. He must have had naked pictures of Brendan Bolton because it was his love child and kept getting picked. I think that I think he got far too many opportunities. He got a 3-year contract, I'm pretty sure. And that was just terrible mismanagement decision from Silvani or whoever was in charge of that.
Then why go to the effort of training him in that particular role?
Last chance. Hey, we'll roll the dice. Here's a crack at something different. If you can make it work, good on you. If you can't, sorry, here's the door. That's my opinion. And I'm rapt that we've finally been able to hear some positive talk about Polly.
No, because I feel for the games that he played this year, he wasn't our worst. And what he did show was something, albeit probably small. But for me personally, I thought he actually delivered a little bit more than I thought he would.
The first, I think it might have been the GWS game was the game he came into the side. And there was a ball he kind of took off halfback and he made a kick, a 45-degree kick inside into the corridor and chose to take the corridor and it set up a goal. And that was his first touch of the game. And I thought, oh, shit, this kid is going to prove me wrong. That first quarter, I think he had about 5 touches or so, was contributing. We were beating GWS at quarter time. I thought, okay, geez, I'm wrong. The kid looks like he is actually showing something. And that was it. 5 minutes of footy was about all he gave that day. Was he the worst? No. But no, I think he was far from the standard we need to be accepting. If we are going to become a top 8 side, don't think he's the sort of player that's going to get us anywhere near it.
And that's why we have opinions, because we can disagree. It's probably one of the only ones we disagree on, but that's fine.
Yes, indeed. There's a reason that he was the whipping boy, John thinks. Whipping boys are harsh because some of the... I'm all for criticising a player if it's founded, and there's a difference between criticising and attacking. That's my point. So I think that we can look at someone and we know who they are. It's the Mitch McGoverns, it's these sort of guys, and they've got all the talent in the world. So they're frustrated. And because we're so passionate about Carlton, it does hurt when someone doesn't live up to certain expectations and stuff. But some of the attacks that go, not only to Paulson and McGovern now, but some of the attacks that go on to players like, Mark Murphy's been a captain of our club and he's a 250, nearly a 300 gamer and stuff. Utterly disgusting. I've seen the same thing. I've seen the same thing posted to Levi Casbolt, and he and his wife have both shared some of those things on social media. Some of the things that they get inboxed, absolutely disgraceful.
Like, people have these boys are human. They have families. They've got, obviously there's us, the fans, but they've got families outside of their little bubbles as well. And if we're going to entice people to watch our game and they see crap like that, like, they're going to switch off. They're going to go, well, these people don't even support their players. They just go, and I see on so many different Carlton pages, people actually just having red hot cracks at players. Yep. Like, I'll put my hand up and say that I don't like some of the things that some of our players do on the field, and that's fine.
Oh.
But I won't flat out.
There's a big difference between our passion and then some of the stuff that goes on. And this is from Carlton fans. We're not even talking the random racist Essendon supporter who wants to say a mean thing to Eddie Betts or something like that. This goes beyond that. This is Carlton members, lifelong members, thinking it's okay just because they pay for a membership. And again, if only it was calling someone the C word or something like that. It's not just that. This is weak dog, gutless pricks, assholes, sons of bitches. Like, I'm going to have to put in the beeps and everything on some of the stuff we hear here.
Oh, but
vicious, personal, and they tag them in it on Twitter, or they tag them on Instagram, or they inbox them so make sure that they see it. If you are watching and you are one of the people that does that, you are a piece of shit. You are a piece of shit, and if you want to say it to them, you are never going to amount to anything in life like they have achieved, even if it's a Cam Paulson. Even if it's Cam Paulson or someone who doesn't even make it. They don't even have to play 500 games of footy. No. If you're doing that to anyone in life, you're a piece of shit.
I agree, because it's a form of bullying, and we're trying to send out social media bullying, and if that's what it's going to be, that's it. This is why I'm only on a few pages, supporters who don't support. That's exactly
well said, Vicky Ann. So our cheer squad group is deliberate and intentional. We say it upon entry. If you want to click on the group and join the cheer squad group, it'll say, do you promise to not personally attack players, coaches, staff, administrators, and other fans? Keep it positive. There's so much shit in the world. We've got wars. We've got nastiness. There's pandemics going on. There's people dying. There's famine. There's people, with sick kids around the world. There's enough to worry about and be angry at, let alone football. Do we get angry? Sure, we get angry. But it's how we address that. Yeah. And I'm glad this has actually become a topic here, because it is just disgraceful. And thank you for everybody. I don't like bullying Nick or Shannon. 100%.
Yeah, agree.
And the thing that gets me with a lot of these people is they're the first person. They're always the sort of person who does it. Always the first to ask for a selfie when Mark Murphy kicks the winner against Freo. They're the first person to ask when Eddie Betts does something good. They're the first person to ask for a selfie at the same people who are always on social media being the gutless trolls. Yeah. If only it was just 15-year-old kids being stupid. It's not. So some of the people who I personally know, and I'll call them out when they do it, personally know on Twitter, and they're not only in their mid-20s, Evan, I know people in their late 40s who think it's okay to call a Carlton player the C word.
It's disgusting. Like, I've seen so many different comments, and I sit there and I go, how do you sleep at night? Like, we're positive people. And our page is moderated like with a fine tooth comb.
And we do cop it for this. We kind of say, oh, you're not allowed to have an opinion in the cheer squad group. You are 100% allowed to have an opinion. Just don't use that opinion to be a dick.
Correct.
It's simple. It's very simple.
If you want to go
with your freedom of speech comes responsibility to use that freedom. It's very simple. Just don't be a dick.
No, that's right. So, hit us up with some ideas, guys. What do you want to
supporter group, also very strict restrictions. Shout out to the Tassie group. G'day, Adrian, my favourite man down at the Bogue Brewery, my Tassie comrade. Tassie group, I really hope that you get some footy games again soon. I don't like our chances of getting down there, but maybe the girls couldn't play AFLW at least. That'd be good to see them there finally.
Maybe, yeah.
And maybe some pre-season games, but I don't like our chances of seeing games down in Tassie, although I really want to see it because we love visiting. Some of the best parties go on in Tassie. It's a great joint.
It's true.
Let's go back onto Liam Stocker for a bit.
Sure.
We've been mentioning just here about mental health and stuff is what making me think of it. And again, I don't necessarily know whether Liam took time off because of mental health and stuff like this, but that's a perfect example. A kid was taking a year off for personal reasons, and you can only make the link that there's mental health stuff involved, because I know that he's now an ambassador or a patron for Beyond Blue, a men's mental health charity, if you will, or an organisation, so that you can make the link. We put up a thing yesterday saying, hey, here's this kid and here's how much extra running he's doing. What a great sign it is to see a young fella taking some initiative and wanting to be part of this club. Some of the comments in reply, it's not that much, 5 extra Ks a day. Please.
I saw those comments.
Really?
I saw those comments. And I'm like,
what has this kid got to do to get people to be positive?
I'm like, I'm pretty sure the post said additional. But anyway. Like, this is the kind of little things that eat away at people. Like, if he saw something like that, he'd be like, oh, so I'm not appreciated. And that's one of the first reasons players go, I don't want to be a part of this club anymore. Why
would I bust my ass and do additional training to what my workload's been given for this club if these fans think this of me?
Exactly. Just a bit of change of pace now to bring up what it was, Debbie O'Connor. Hello, Debbie, again. Nice to see you again this week. Will the VFL games be as curtain raisers? Now, I remember growing up at Princess Park watching the VFL as our curtain raisers.
Amazing.
Get up early. Like, my dad would get up early to go and watch them. So I would love to see them be curtain raisers again. But
do you have any specific VFL or curtain raiser memories from the reserves?
Anytime Carlton play, I suppose. But
I remember seeing Carlton reserves versus Collingwood reserves at the MCG. And our reserves forward line, now there's some names in this one, our reserves forward line in 1999 was Brendan Favola and Andrew Merrington. And they kicked 18 between them. They kicked 9 each in the reserves. And I thought I'd just seen the second coming of, Lockett and Ablett sort of thing coming onto the scene. Well, with Fev, we were half right. He was an absolute legend of the sport. Merrington, not so much, but that day I thought he will actually look better than Fev that day.
I actually thoroughly enjoyed the Millennium match where Fev decided he was going to go absolutely whack.
So this one's coming in from Michelle, directed specifically to Cheer Squad members. How do you find the AFL now apparently releasing the fixtures similar to 2020? So in installments, maybe 3-week blocks or so.
Yep.
One would think it would be harder for you guys to book interstate trips and affordability, etc., because the more in advance you book flights, they're cheaper. Thoughts? 1,000% correct, Michelle. It is going to be a pain in the ass, for us. And not only Cheer Squad members, for anyone who travels interstate for games. And as we spoke before about Adrian, for people like the Tassie crew who may not be able to get games there, they're more likely to try and get to games in Melbourne or whatever. It's not only harder to afford because affordability of hotels and accommodation and flights is different from when you book. You've also got to get time off work if you do so. If you've got kids, you've got to find someone to take care of your kids. You've got to find someone to take care of your pet, whatever it looks like. If you're going to be traveling overseas or interstate, it's a massive deal. I think it's being done for ratings, and I think fans especially cheer squad or interstate travelling supporters, are going to find it a lot harder. Shannon?
I agree. I don't go to many interstate games as a just pure reason I couldn't afford to. But the games that I have gone to have been fantastic. But no, for those that go a lot like yourself and Michelle and Liam and all of those ones that are the main core group of cheer squad members like Natalie, Deb, everyone that go interstate. I know for this year you guys had pretty much nearly all of them booked in advance.
We did, yeah.
So with this floating fixture, I don't agree with it at all. Like, I understand they're trying to be flexible with COVID. I get it, but at least give a little bit more notice for like release half a season.
As much as possible, even if it's 6 weeks in advance. Do it 6-week blocks, and at the start of that 6 weeks go, hey, here's what you're going to do for the next bit. It at least gives you time to ask for annual leave or to be able to budget and say, well, I've got this much annual leave up my sleeve. I can take this many days off, or I can kind of give my employment or my boss, or whoever it is, enough notice to say, hey, in a couple of weeks when things might be a bit tough for our business, whatever workplace you're in, I need this time off then. The more it's going to mean that your work life, your family life, whatever else, there's more balance if you're able to book in advance.
Exactly.
Generally, we're the types that book all of our trips, or at least plan what we're going to go and how long we're going to spend at each state when the fixture comes out. The day of the fixture, majority of cheer squad people have booked several flights that day.
100%, and 90% of them are the same crew that go all the time. And it's incredibly difficult for you guys that go absolutely every single interstate trip. And even in
2019, Michelle and I did every single interstate.
Yeah.
2020, we had planned to do every interstate. Obviously, COVID happens. We've gotten credits on a lot of those flights. So
we'll be able to use
2021, the flying part will still be very cheap for us. We've got the credits from this year rolling over, but it's booking accommodation. It's taking, again, time off work. And because of what's happened with COVID, a lot of people may have I'm one of them, have gone from secure full-time employment to casual employment. It's not easy to be taking time off if you're on casual sort of thing. So it's a massive difference.
And I'm on maternity leave, so like it's
so much harder to budget and plan.
Yeah, 100%. And I know, you don't want to be looking too far ahead, but you don't want to be left in the lurch, going, "Oh, I could have gone to that game had I known it was going to be earlier," sort of thing. Yep. And Natalie goes, "It's supposed to be the people's game. They don't really factor the people in." We've known this for so long.
We own the clubs. We own the league. Do you remember when Gil McLaughlin first became the chair of the CEO of the AFL? The very first interview he did, he said, "I want to return the game back to the people."
He did, and we're still waiting.
Wake me up when September ends.
We've been singing that for how many years? That time we
Greg Sandow, especially true when we personally drive 6 hours with 4 kids to see a game. So that's the other thing. You can still be in. It's not even interstate games. If you're in regional Victoria, which I'm only presuming that Greg is, if you're in regional Victoria, or let's say you're in Mildura or in Bendigo or something like that, maybe Bendigo's a bit closer than 6 hours, but
Albury,
it's not easy.
No.
It's not easy. We've got a lot of cheer squad members who travel a lot, and Tanya's in the comments. Tanya gets the train down from Benalla, and we've got supporters who, people on disability pensions as well who don't have any finances. You mentioned you're on maternity leave and finances are tough. Yeah. Cheer squads stereotypically come from a lot of our members, and they do come maybe from low socioeconomic backgrounds or just people doing it tough.
Yeah.
These are people who are going to be finding it tougher to get to games now.
Oh, 100%. And Debbie, is it wrong for me to hope for another Gold Coast hub? No, it's not wrong, Debbie, at all.
Only if we can join you this year. I wouldn't mind. Wouldn't mind a year in the Gold Coast.
So I believe we are in charge of giving away something this evening, Nick.
We are. So
we gave it away last week, but we
segue. Look at that.
Got to talk.
I'm going to be totally honest. I forgot again.
We don't want the boys messaging us later going, the voucher. So I was thinking, I don't know if you agree, if we can have in the comments, just in the comments below or on the side, wherever you are watching. We're giving away $100 voucher today. I believe, is it for the shop or is it for, what's it for?
Carlton Shop voucher, $100 Carlton Shop voucher.
Carlton Shop is back open for those that are in Melbourne on a Tuesday, Thursday and a Saturday.
From
all your Christmas
9 till 3 or 11 till 3? It's only part of the day.
10 till 3.
10 till 3, I was close.
10 till 3. You're very close. But I reckon if we ask for in the comments your favourite Carlton memory, what do you think?
Good call.
Your favourite Carlton memory, and we'll have a look at all of them in the next couple of minutes. So just keep flooding them through for all those that are still watching. And we'll pick our favourite one, and you guys will be in contact with you for your $100 voucher. So
and no, Michelle, you can't win it. Sorry, my fiance, who will be trying to comment, trying to win a $100 voucher. Nepotism is great, but we've got to make this above board. It's a $100 voucher up for grabs for the Carlton Shop, everyone. So yeah, hit us up. Your favourite Carlton memory, and I don't know about you. I'm personally going to try and make sure that my vote of who does win it. Get obscure. We all remember the 99 prelim. We all remember beating Richmond in 2013 grand final, elimination final, and grand final wins. I want obscure memories that are very left of centre. I want encounters with I met David Rees-Jones on a train or something like this. Something very – Michelle's coming out real hard here. Ed Kerno gave her a kiss on the cheek and her face went bright red. And she reckons I'm sleeping on the couch tonight. Wow.
Well, we'll just chime in with our obscure memories. I have an obscure memory. It was actually after the 2013 game in Adelaide.
Yep.
I saw Murph in the rooms, and you know my feelings of Murph. I fangirled and squealed.
I share them. Yep.
Yep, you share them. I didn't want to go up to him for a photo, and I was pretty much forced into the photo. Not that I'm complaining, but hey, it was an obscure memory, and it was one of my favourite memories of meeting Murph, and I have many more of meeting Murph, but I could have my own show based on my love for Murph. So let's not go.
My obscure Carlton memory is, so for those who know me well, knows my Carlton, part of my Carlton connection is via family. Not only to Mr. Jezelenko being a very good family friend, but my cousin married David Kernahan, Stephen's brother, who also played State of Origin and played 58 or 60 games for Carlton himself. Very good player in his own right. So I was the page boy at a Kernahan wedding. And I remember there's photos of me I was all of about 4. Carlton had just lost the grand final to Essendon, so I would have been going on 5. And there's photos of me as a 4 or a 5-year-old with a Crown Lager in my hand, handing it up to Stephen Kernahan. And it's something that is very dear to my family and me, but Stephen Kernahan's my footy hero, and that's a very special one for me. And my other very obscure, if we're going to try and get very obscure, I saw Nick Dygan in Village Bakery in Brunswick about 12 months ago, and I kind of squealed, and he saw the fact that I had a Carlton hat on and he winked at me, and I turned to water. Nick Dygan.
All right, let's have a look at some of these comments here. Walking out with Vin Katoggio after we beat St Kilda at the MCG and told him how much I loved him. Frank, I love you.
Awesome. Clubbing with Petrescu. Dare I ask, Luca? Dare I ask?
You would. Only you would, Luca. Only you would.
Vicky M, my first game at Princess Park at 5 years old, Serge Silvani won my heart, while babysitting Jez's kids regularly as a teenager. Very good. Very good. What else have we got? Oh, this is a good one. Come on, Adrian. Meeting Wiedering in the elevator at Docklands after being in the club rooms after the game. Chattering him, he noticed that he noticed that his boots, which he was holding, had a blowout. Would you like my boots? That's awesome. Last year I met Matthew Hogg. What a gun! Premiership player.
I've got another obscure one. I used to sit at Princess Park with his grandmother.
You sat with Matty Hogg's
grandmother. She went to every game of his, and she used to bake me cookies.
That's incredible.
There's my obscure.
I like Rob's one here. I have one before an AFLW game. Gab Pound lifted him off his feet. There's a photo of them, and he kind of gives her a hug in the photo, and she just lifts him up. And Gab's
first game against Collingwood in the first season, I'm pretty sure. It was early on.
First season, I know that much.
There's one for Andrew Lake. I want to have a look at that one. The day Peter Motley walked
to a Heatley stand. So this one I like because it's incorporating the Heatley End and the Heatley stand.
Yeah.
Motley walked to a seat in the Heatley End after his accident. The Carlton faithful stood as one and honoured a man who showed so much more courage than any of us could have possibly imagined. To this day, he's still a loved figure. That's
my favourite at the moment.
Despite his career being cut short so tragically. Andrew, what a moment. I have heard stories about this moment. My dad has told me this when I remember it as a kid hearing about it. For people my age and your age, Shannon, we might be able to appreciate just how good Peter Motley was.
No. I've heard about his accident, though.
When he came to the club, the same off-season, I'm pretty sure in one off-season, we talk about super drafts, in one off-season at the end of 86, Carlton brought in Craig Bradley, Stephen Kernahan, John Dorotich, Peter Motley, and I think there's one more I can't think of as well, but all came in the same off-season. It's a good one. But everyone said at the time Motley was better than Bradley.
Yeah.
There's very few higher honours any player can or will ever be given than that.
No, I heard a lot about his accident and what he could have been, and it's a shame. It's a real shame. And it's one of those unfortunate life events that we can't really help, really, unfortunately. It's just the luck of the draw.
Tragic. It is the luck of the draw, and it's tragic that it happened. Great comment, Andrew. I'm a really big fan of that one.
Yep.
Luke went on the Captain Carlton hovercraft at the age of 4. Oh, shit, that's funny.
I honestly can say that I actually pinched a football from the hovercraft when he used to go around the Princess Park and kick the foot. Yeah, I pinched one day.
So great. I love it.
So good.
G Squad says the Hosco huddle. I represent AFLW. Jess Hosking. By the way, everybody, it's the Hoskings, both Hoskings, but only one's at Carlton anymore. It's their birthday tomorrow, so shout out to Jess Hosking and Sarah Hosking.
Birthday girls.
You're no longer a Carlton player, Sarah, but we still love you.
100%.
We'll only boo you during the game, and after the game, we'll be friends again.
You can do this any other time.
The huddle has become its own Cheer Squad tradition. It's something I love, and there's a bit of sentimentality around it. You've been part of many of Hosco huddles?
I was involved in many Hosco huddles. Love it.
For those who are watching this and don't know, because they're not us, explain what a Hosco huddle is.
So after every game, Monley wins. The girls would come over to the cheer squad and they would literally jump on the fence and sit and hug us, and we'd take a photo.
Take a big selfie.
Big selfie.
It became known as the Hosco huddle.
Yeah. And we are still going to have the Hosco huddle next year, I hope. Just with one Hosco. Half a Hosco.
Yeah, half a Hosco will be there. You never know if she's not playing that day. Sarah can come and watch Jess and sit with us, I'm sure.
I'm sure Sarah has already said many times.
She'd be one of the first people to come and sit with us, I'm sure.
Oh, 100%. And I wouldn't say no.
Yep. First Blues game live, year 2000, on my honeymoon. We smashed the Tigers. New bride dissing on Tigers supporters for leaving at three-quarter time.
That's brilliant.
How good was it in the days when Richmond fans would leave early? Now they're good. It shits me. I remember them I liked them a lot more when they were crap.
When we were beating them every round one for like
10 years. It went forever. What are we now? We're 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We've gone 8 years without beating them round one.
Oh, that hurts.
2012 is the last time we did it, so technically 9 years. By next year, it'll be 9 years.
Well, we're gonna win round one next year, but that's just me. Anyway,
obscure one. Oh, Lakey is an employee, disqualified, Carlton says. Mac Champion, obscure. Carlton auction at Kawana. Craig Bradley came and sat next to me at a table. My favourite, oh my God, a little bit of we came out, me thinks. Can't remember a word in our chat. In awe, Big Bro bought Team Stone Guernsey an auction, then gave it to me our first spoon season. Thought it would be worth heaps, but didn't work out. So that would be 2002 if it was the first spoon season.
That was the first spoon season.
Mish can't win it if she is disqualified for winning the voucher.
Penny Dow's running
goal on the Gold Coast. That one's a bit special to me and Michelle because we kind of bonded over that goal, and within 24 hours we were dating, and now we're engaged to be married. But that away trip, Paddy Dow's goal helped sparks fly. Let's just say that. Keep it PG. It helps sparks fly.
She keeps commenting.
Watching the 2019 grand final with Fev, yeah. So last year we were there, decked out in opposition supporters' colours, sadly. But sitting behind us was Fev, and I had a commentary partner for the game and a drinking buddy as well, and it was good. And Christo used to work at the same place as my mum, and my mum, and she used to shit stir him every week. I do like that one. Rob, I've received a letter from a lovely old lady saying thank you for making the 300 game banner for Mick Martin because it wasn't 300 games for Carlton. She was so grateful. The lovely lady was Mick Martin's mother.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That's cool. Now, Mickey Martin only played about 6 or so games for us. 298 elsewhere. So where are we at? Debbie O'Connor, Nick Trader. Yeah, I am a trader. It didn't feel good. I was wearing it in support of a close family friend who has got strong links to Richmond. I still detest with every fibre of my being Richmond, but I can respect how good they are. But I'll put my hand up, Debbie. It didn't feel good because nothing feels good. You can even being at a grand final, it's a great experience, but it's not as great as when your own team's there. I have been to 3 grand finals, no, 4, including the AFLW. I've been to 4 grand finals, including Carlton, and all of them were better experiences than Richmond. But I know I'm proud to say I've got friends elsewhere.
Good.
13 games at Carlton for Mick Martin, apparently. So 300 game banner for a bloke who achieved majority of it elsewhere. That's a nice touch. I do remember that from Carlton.
Right. So do you have a favourite one?
Well, apparently Andrew's disqualified and not allowed to win it because I presume he's an employee of Ron or Trev.
Right.
But that was my favourite comment. Let's try and find. I don't want to. Give me a sec. Let's find other ones that we like because there are. I do actually also like the one where the Tiger supporters are leaving at 3/4 time. That's
that was a good one. I do like that one. And I believe that. Is
that Greg? Here we go, Greg. Are we going to settle on Greg? First Blues game live, 2000. On my honeymoon, we smashed the Tigers. And that could also help resolve some of Debbie's anti-Tigers sentiment that I might have generated there. My new bride dissing on the Tigers supporters for leaving at 3/4 time. I actually do love that because not only does Greg sound like a star for hating on the Tigers, his bride, his wife, hating on them as well. That's a nice picture. So are you fine with that? Can we go for Greg? Sorry, Andrew, as well, by the way, if you've been disqualified for other reasons. But everybody, there's some awesome comments that have come in here.
Yeah, I'm happy with that one. I believe Greg's also our Mildura viewer, so that's even better.
Shout out to Mildura, God's country up there. Stefano Di Pieri on the water, one of the nicest restaurants I've ever been to. I believe he's still out there as well. We've kind of hit on favourite memories. Let's look forward now. We've kind of mentioned before we've got so much to look forward to, who are the players that need to step up, who are the players that we're excited for. Let's put us on the spot. The next time that we do this next week will be the day before draft night.
It will be.
We kind of mentioned last week what we kind of think we need, but before even knowing who we pick up in the draft, are we confident? Like, put a number on how many wins is pass mark.
How many do we have this year? 7. Thought so.
No, 8. 7 last year, 8 this year.
Okay. 10 or more.
Okay.
10 or more is a pass for me.
Okay, I think we need more than that because I think we need to be making the finals or else. For me, if we do play, let's hypothetical, it's a 22-week season. For me, it's 13 wins.
Okay.
12 or 13. making the 8, but let's say 13 is 12 is my pass mark. 13 is the goal because you got to get in the 8. 12 might just get us there.
Yeah.
But bare minimum is 8th spot. 9th or below, I believe, is a complete failure.
I agree, because we've had this expectation now for a few years that we are going to deliver. Now is judging by the comments,
talk is cheap. Talk is cheap, and do it. Yep, let's do it now.
Yeah, well, we've got it's either now or never. We don't want to be in the boat where we're a St Kilda, where we deliver once and then disappear and then come back and then deliver again and then still not make a grand final or win a premiership. I don't want to be a St Kilda.
Good call. And it's all well and good to make 8th, but as you say, if you make 8th and then spend the next 3 years just sitting around 8th to 12th spot, does nothing for you.
No. Richmond did it for a very, very long time. And they were
when they got there, they made the most of it. Footscray a couple of years ago, they got there. When they got there, they made the most of it. When they got there,
yeah. Everyone seems to be in agreement with this. Finals or bus.
Yep. No ifs, no buts. Finals or bust.
How many no number of wins or more wins than losses. Yeah, that's good.
That's the base mark, surely.
Yeah.
AFLW pass mark.
How many games do they have in a season?
Don't know. We haven't got the fixture yet.
Well, I want to say win every game.
Well, okay. Well, are we presuming that it's not about wins or losses? It's about finals.
Yeah.
Is the pass mark a flag, or is the pass mark making the granny? Is the pass mark?
Well, considering we made the grand final in the year we shouldn't have, and we got absolutely rightly thumped by Adelaide that year.
Rightly thumped.
I feel grand final is a pass mark, and coming home with the cup is a bonus.
I think similar. I think the absolute minimum is getting there this year, because they're talking it up. You can't talk a big game and then not deliver on that. That's really hard. And yes, injuries and all these other excuses can come in, but ultimately I love that they're saying it, because it shows intent and it shows that they think they can do it. The cup, Brucey says, the cup is what we need, AFLW premiership, but it's time for number 17. I saw Rob before mentioning Carlton spelt with the 17. It is time. Whether people want to call it our 17th flag or our first flag, AFLW, it is time for them to win one. We do think we should have won it this year, so it's a missed opportunity. Yeah. We mentioned before we love Sarah Hosking, but we haven't really lost a hell of a lot list-wise. We lost Sarah but gained Elise O'Day, who I think is elite. I think we're really, really going to – there's no holes on our list, and it's time that we deliver, I think. Flag for the girls, that's all.
Mac has a comment here. Our father-son talk very quiet, McKay, Silvani and Gleeson. Maybe we'll hold on to that comment, and we'll bring it up next week when we talk and draft.
Chat, I'm not confident on any of those, Mac, but maybe that can be one of our topics for next week, father-sons or opportunities for father-sons, and what we think for each pick and what we're going to be doing strategy-wise. Absolutely. And also, everybody watching, hit us up if there's anything else we're going to be discussing next week. As I said, it's going to be the night before the draft, so it'll probably be draft-centered, a lot of our discussions. So anyone who has got draft questions, or I saw a couple of questions before about we traded up the order to try and get a higher pick with pick 31 now. So we've got 31, 38 and 78. People are saying, why did we think is there a specific player in mind? So any of those sort of draft-related questions, hit us up in the comments. And during the week, we'll try and formulate some discussion around that. And that can be our vision and our guide for next week. Anything else? What do we have to hit on? We've got a few things to plug, but there's that kind of us wrapping up.
Yeah, that is. I don't think we've covered everything we wanted to talk about tonight. Unless anyone else has any other topics I want to discuss before we finish up. But other than that, go ahead.
I'm going to go for our winner here, Greg. Met Lockie O'Brien's dad at his workplace today. The whole club is dead set focused on finals, not over the top, but really bullish. Good to hear. Good to hear. And I think they are. I think it is time. I think a few of the people coming from a lot of the rhetoric around the women's comp, it's flag. A lot of the rhetoric around the men's team, again, is finals are bust. We heard Cripps kind of last year I was a bit critical of it because of the timing of it, but we beat the Gold Coast up in Gold Coast. Cripps walking into the change rooms. The Baggers are back, and we started talking about finals a bit prematurely. I think we took the focus off the task at hand a bit, but they believe and they think that they're there. So, we're very close. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We've got a few things to plug, Shan.
Off you go. You've got the Cheer Squad raffle for those who are watching.
So for those who were on last week's show, we would remember. Oh no, I'm going to very quickly. This can be. We don't like discussing anyone else on this. We've touched on Richmond before. We don't like discussing other teams, especially this mob. But can we just spend 2 seconds on the Bombers? Max brought it up. I have to mention this because it's a dig at the team I hate. Essendon Football Club, for those who don't know, sent an internal email to all their players asking them to take a 9% salary cut just because they just didn't want to take a pay cut. And the players told the administration in as many words where to stick it. And there's currently a bit of a civil war brewing. Josh Dunkley would be going like this right now. Adam Sard would be just giggling because, the digs that club gave Adam Sard on his way out, pretending that he doesn't like being defensive, he's not a team player. Screw Essendon. And I'm going to love watching that club burn to the ground over the next 3 years. I think Essendon right now are in the same spot Carlton were in 2014. They're kind of teetering on the cliff, and they're just about to go like that. And it's going to be beautiful to watch. So I just wanted to get that little slide dig in because I saw that comment there, and I just really had to mention that. Lol Essendon. Thanks, Adrian. Thanks, everybody. So back to our time for promoting things. Cheer Squad raffle is live, has been live since last week. And we've got 4 prizes up for grabs as announced last week on our inaugural show. So the 4 prizes are a team signed Guernsey, an Indigenous team signed Guernsey, Guernsey signed by Patrick Cripps, and a Guernsey signed by Sam Doherty, the 2 captains. 4 prizes in total, all up for grabs. All the details are on the Cheer Squad's page, Cheer Squad's social media pages on how to enter via PayPal. And for those who don't have PayPal, yes, we do direct bank transfer. Just inbox us and we'll give you those bank details as well. But everyone hit us up. We're really supportive. We're really thankful for the support being shown, not only to this show but the Cheer Squad wider. I think everyone get around that because especially at the moment it's going to be the last opportunity the Cheer Squad will be giving at least for signed memorabilia signed by Simo and Matty Cruiser. Yep. So those items, those team signed Guernseys especially, are super rare all of a sudden because we will not be giving any other items out signed by either of those players. No. It's literally a last chance for those 2 players. Not only the other 2 items signed by both our captains are awesome items as well, but the 2 team signed especially I think are awesome items to be bidding on. So hit us up there. Those raffles are live. 10 tickets for 10 and 50 tickets for $20, and all the details are on the Cheer Squad socials. Shannon, it's been a pleasure again.
Every conversation we have is a good one, Nick, so another great time. Don't forget to tune in next week, guys, for our draft. Same time, same place.
7 p.m. Tuesday. We're going to make it a weekly thing.
We'll be here, and like Nick said, if you have anything you want to discuss, anything you want us to discuss, any unpopular opinions you think.
Good one. Hit us up with your unpopular opinions. I want to hear the unpopular opinions from everyone else. I want everyone to get controversial. We don't want to start slagging players because we just talked about before how we don't like that. But hit us up if you're the one person out there who thinks that Josh Bootsma was a star. I want to hear from you. Yeah. If you're one person out there who thinks that John Nichols or Bruce Dewell was no good, I don't believe you exist. If you're out there, let's hear from you. Hit us up. Get controversial.
Instead of us having the discussion, we'll open it up to everybody else, and you tell us what your unpopular opinion is, and hey, we'll see if you have a good one, and we'll air it live.
Absolutely. And so congratulations, Greg, for winning the $100 Carlton shop voucher. Either one of the 2 of us or John or Trev, one of us will be in touch very soon to get that sent out to you. So congratulations to Greg. And make sure everybody also after this, thank you everybody for watching, but after this, if you are inclined to stay on social media, our partner or our friends over at Blue Abroad tonight have got Wayne Harms being interviewed. That was our competition tonight. Support them as well. Give them a few views and page likes. Make sure everybody who is watching this video like Carlton Live on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. Hit us all up. Support the Cheer Squad. Support all those Carlton connections that are providing this content, guys. The Carlton community is really, really awesome and coming along in full strength. Thanks so much, Debbie, for watching. Thanks for watching, everybody else. Max, 8 points, guys, 2 from 2. We've had 2 wins. Thanks, Mac. Appreciate that. Undefeated.
Way to start the season, right?
Long may it continue. Let's go for at least 20-2. Let's go for the Carlton 95 record. Let's see if we can get that. Yeah, so absolutely everybody else. Greg's mentioning working next week. We'll tune into the replay. The replay is available, obviously, after the fact. You can hit us up on Facebook or on YouTube. The videos get uploaded after the fact as well. So if you're the person who podcasts or watch things on YouTube, these videos are available there as well.
No worries. Well, thanks again, Nick. Pleasure as always.
Back at ya. Hope the couch is comfy, says Michelle. Yes, well, I'm probably going to be sleeping on it, Michelle. Michelle will. I mentioned Ed Kerno in a negative vein, and I think it's going to go down well.
My husband wasn't here for the Essendon comment, so I think I'm sweet.
Your daughter goes for Carlton. That's all that matters.
That's exactly right.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Go the Blues. And let's hope we've 2 wins from 2, apparently. So it sounds like there's a bit of momentum kicking toward the Heatley End. Hey, how's that for a segue? Thank you.
Go Blues.